Today we're going to talk about T-Quoter. This is the system that we use to put in work orders for custom jobs for TC Door. So I'm going to do a brief overview on this. Um, you launch it with this icon right here. Over here on the left, you'll see a dashboard. We don't use that dashboard currently. Quotes, this will be the main screen you're going to. We do not use the scheduling tool. Customers here, you can click this and you can search by customers. You can put a search in here, or they're alphabetized, find that particular customer. Currently, we don't use the purchase order. Accounts receivable tab, when opened up, this is what you would use to find people that owe us money. And you see aging over here. That's mainly management using that. Vendors and QuickBooks is not used either. At this current time, we're going to disregard all these buttons here at the bottom. We'll get into reportings here in a minute. For now, we're going to go ahead and go to quotes. Here you'll see a blank screen of so if you had a new customer, you start typing their name in there. I'm going to use an existing customer for this example, which is Tees to Your Door. If you notice, down here it starts populating right here, as well as if you click down you see this one. I'm going to use a Central Mall in this example. It has all the contact information there currently. If you need to edit that, you simply click the edit button here, and then you'll see down here on the icon, this customer screen pops up. Right here you'll see this is the customer information. This is also the same screen you'll see if you're adding a new customer. Very, very important here that we have the customer's name and the customer group. Are they a business? Are they an individual? That affects the tax. If there's a particular sales rep, we have sales reps built in here. And once these sales reps are in here and they have orders in the system, they can't be deleted. But we currently have Vicky Hart, Mandy Gibson, Dalton Varnado on this. For this account, we don't have one. Terms, everybody's going to be due on receipt. Unless they have a credit application in, and you'll be notified if there's somebody like that. Down here, you'll see the same information. Very important that we put the address. This is me, naturally, for internal consumption, so I don't have the address. Email, telephone number. If you notice over here, this checkbox, shipping same as billing. If that was unchecked, then we could have billing address here and shipping address here. We could change the difference. Typically we leave that checked. Other information up here at the top, you have tax information. This is a resale customer. If you check individual, typically taxable will come up. I think that defaults to taxable for everybody. So if they're a resale business, they have to fill out the Texas Resale Comptroller Certificate. If it's a school, church, nonprofit, exempt organization, we'll have to get them to sign the exempt organization form. And then we would simply check other, and we would put here what it was, church, school, what have you. This current one is resellable. Notes, this section right here, we use it a little bit, not very often though, if you have some special notes. And you see this language up here, that happened a while back and I really don't know how to change it. I've talked to them and we can't get it. Order history is a very good tab to use. This will show the complete order history of this particular customer by date. So if you want to go back and find a reorder, say we were looking for this one right here, you simply double click out here to the left, and I'm not going to save the changes because we didn't change anything, and this pulls up this particular order here that was made. If you notice, everything's grayed out here. That's because it's in the complete status. If it was in a new order status, you'd have access to be able to modify this. You can still click on the screen printing work order, and it's grayed out again, so you can't change it, but it'll show you the shirt, the color, the quantity. If you notice, all the pricing on our stuff is 0. Very, very, very important. I'm going to cancel out of this for now, and we will go back to the quote screen right here. And I am going to enter new here again, and I'm going to get back into the Tees to Your Door customer, Central Mall, so we can continue on with this exercise. Okay, so I'm going to enter a new work order here. So the customer comes up. The description, this description is going to be the same name as it is on the website. So everything matches all the way through. The art file will be the same name. This quote will be the same name. The job specification sheets will be the same name. Right here, the status quote. So if we're what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to call this test for video is what I'm going to call this. I want to make sure everything is grammarly correct here, as well as caps are correct. This is going to be a new order. So when you generate the new order, you see the date of the order. So today is the date we're generating the order. When is the order due? Very important here, because this is how we set our production schedule. We're going to make this due in a week. Most things are due typically in a week. Invoice date, again, we'll do today. Now, if you had a sales rep, this is where you drop down the sales rep. For this, I'm not going to do it, but I'm in there as well. But we're not going to have a sales rep for this. So at this point, you have the customer's information and the due date. So now we need to add a work order. To add a work order, you click the Add button. 99% of our work orders are going to be screen printing, and that's the T-shirts. Occasionally, we'll have some signs. We also have a Tease Your Door that we never really utilized. We kept doing the screen printing. So I'm going to go screen printing for now. And you see the name carried over here, the due dates. Okay, the only other field that changes here is art due date. And we typically, this will be set by management. You'll give an idea. I'm going to put the art as due 2 days before the due date here. This is the workflow. We do not use this, and that was the dashboard that I said earlier we do not use. Typically, we don't use anything over here in this order options. We don't use the scheduled job. We typically don't check any of this stuff either. We have a proof sheet. We send them automatically. So at this point, we're going to come in here and say, okay, we're going to say, how many colors are on the front of the shirt? If you notice right here, we're designated front, back, custom location 1 and 2. So we're going to say there's 2 colors on the, and we're going to make sure we're going to call it a full chest print. And then we're also going to say, okay, now we have 3 colors, and we're going to do a full back print on that. And we'll leave that at that. At this point right here, up here you see 3 tabs: work order, artwork, cost of goods, summary of costs. Summary of costs we don't use. Artwork we do use. This right here is telling you it's a full front print and a full back print. So what colors are in this design? Typically, if it's a colored shirt, we're always going to have a white underbase under it. So you enter the color, hit enter, and we'll just say, for practical purposes, the next color is red. We do the same thing on the back. We're going to say white, and then we'll say red, and then maybe we're going to say athletic gold. Now, these colors have to be the colors that we offer on our color specification sheet of the colors of inks that we offer at Excel Screen Printing. You'll have a copy of this to reference when you're filling this out. So now that we have that in there, you could print a proof sheet if you wanted to. We're getting away from that this week, actually, because we just created our own proof sheet outside of this program, much better, more detailed. So from here, we're going to go back to the artwork tab. Now we got to choose a garment type. This program has thousands of garments built into it. We typically use for ourself on a t-shirt, we're going to use a 5000. That is a 100% cotton shirt, Gildan heavy cotton shirt. Now, if you notice, when I type 5000, B comes up. That's a youth shirt. We're going to get better at this to classify youth shirts versus adult shirts, but currently we're going to stick to what we do. I'm going to put a space there, and you see it goes to the cotton t-shirt. I disregard this 2XL colors out here. That doesn't really mean anything. I'm going to tab, and then we're going to pick the color of the shirt. So I'm just going to put, and this has to be the exact color shirt we're going to order. So I'm just going to put, for this purpose, I'm going to put black. Now, out here we have our sizes. Youth extra small, youth medium, youth large, all the way down. If you notice, it ends at 3XL. Many times we'll have 4 and 5XL, and I'm going to show you how to handle that. So we're just going to put some numbers in here. Okay, this cost automatically defaults to a cost. This cost, we can't get confused with this. This actually has to be quoted off of our pricing sheet. So if I was going to do for this purpose, I'll just say we're going to do these for $650, just as for the example, but make sure you reference the cost sheet for that. Okay, so if you notice, we had the 3XLs, but we actually need some 4XLs and 5XLs too. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back here again, put the 5000, and right here, we're going to put 4XL. Well, we're going to try to put 4XL. 4XL. If you notice how we have it, that's the default. Somebody put it in there incorrectly. There's nothing I can do about that. And then we're going to tab out here, and right here we're going to put two 4XLs. Okay, and then we're going to do this right here. I'm going to show you something else too. This right here can be changed. So if you only have 4XLs without 5XLs, we can do this right here, and I'm going to show you how I can do this right here. 4XL. That's the only one that you can change. Okay, so if we wanted to put 4XL right there, we could actually come over here. We could delete this column, delete this row, and we can come back here and put the 2XLs here. And that way they know what it is right here. If you notice, the price stays the same for all these other sizes, even though there is an upcharge for those. So on the next line, we're going to put upcharge. And we're going to accumulate. Here's where it gets a little confusing at. So you have 2 and 4. You have 4 shirts that are upcharged. But this says 4XL here. Okay, that's why this is kind of confusing, and I really do not like changing this column, so I'm going to go back to other on that. So now other upcharge makes sense to it, and they're $250. It's built in there. So what I'm going to do here in the add the notes section, I'm going to come here, other equals 4XL. I'm going to put myself a note in there that'll show up, and whoever's ordering this will know that the 4XL is other. So the next thing you're going to do in here is if there's any additional screen fees, we'll train on that at another time when we talk about that. But they get a certain amount of screen fees per design. The next thing we're going to do is we default 2 fields here: counting before printing. I'm just tabbing over, and then we type in here counting. I think it's called counting after. Counting after. Well, that must not be it. Let me see. Excuse my email for going off. So counting before printing, counted after printing. And what they do here in the field, they come down here where these shirts are. They're going to make sure they're going to write these in an ink pen, 222 if they're here. If there's deficiencies, then they bring the work order back. We have to order those. So that's concluding. And once that's through, we're going to print 2 copies of this. We're going to print this. And if you notice this has 2 up here, let's just hit this little down arrow, and there's our note section. So we do have to print that. Occasionally you don't have to print that. Print, we're going to print 2 copies of it. Typically the printer that you're going to use is going to be this 3050 right here. On T-Quoters, we always print them in black and white, so it's preference black and white. Okay. And then we're going to print. So now that those are printed, you saw it come up and down. That's what it looks like. We're going to X out of this. And we get back here, we're going to save this. At this point, you've created the work orders. You see it here. Now, you can add additional work orders here if you need to add additional work orders. And where we do that at is if there's different styles of shirts, like a hoodie requires different print than a t-shirt or something, they'll add a B work order to that. We're going to conclude this video here. We have about a minute left on it, but I just want to say the printed copies that you print, we're going to take a Sharpie mark on one of them. We're going to put art, and the other we're going to put pull up at the top. These are the master devices that we're going to go give to the artist to start creating the artwork. The pull copy stays with you, so we can order the shirts when the order's approved or the shirts come in. A lot of times we'll start these work orders and we won't have sizes. And what we have to do is go ahead and start the artwork, get it approved, then the customer sends us sizes. And at that point, we would create the pull work order. They have to make their payment, order the shirts, and get the process rolling. So that's just a brief overview this morning of the system that we use in T-Quoter. It's relatively simple. I would say the more complex piece of this is the piece around learning the different shirt styles, learning the pricing structure, but we do have all that referenced on documents that make it relatively simple. So this is how to enter a invoice and a work order on T-Quoter, and I hope it helps.